Okay, so how I would do my time section, so I would do especially my LR sections. So I would do like one LR section with blind review. What that means to me is I would set up my timer for 35 minutes, or if you have accommodations, I would set it for, I think you have 53 minutes or 52 minutes. And I would take my section as ifs. I would flag questions that I was unsure about. So if I was less than 90% sure, I would flag it, or if I just felt like it was taking a really long time. Once I would run out of time, I would just mark what question I got to. So if I only got to question 19, I would just mark it, and then I would finish the section untimed. So I would do 19 through 25 or whatever untimed. And then once I finished it, I would attempt all the questions I flagged again before I would check my answers. So say I flagged 4 questions, I would just go back and revisit those questions before I would grade it, just to see if I could figure it out in the untimed environment. And that way I got used to like, hey, if I'm not getting something, like knowing when on the test to move on, but also giving myself the opportunity to figure it out for myself. And then I would grade the section. Any question that I missed, I would attempt the question again. And I don't spend a lot of time after this. I just try it again. And if I narrowed it down to 2, I do read it and try to figure out why my second question, I don't just pick my other answer just because, like, I do try the question truly again, and then I grade it once more. But then every single question that I flagged, even if I got it correct, I would go, well, first what I do is the ones that I got right on blind review, I go back to them and I try to figure out why my first answer was wrong and why my new answer is correct on my own.
Mhm.
I don't do that before I grade it though, because I think sometimes on blind review, you can even pick the wrong answer and then you waste a lot of time determining why this new answer that's also wrong is better than your other wrong answer. And I think that's silly. So I do grade it before I do that. And then once I do that, for every single question that I flagged, even if I got it correct, and every single question that I missed, that's what I review with external sources. So if you're using 7th Sage or LSAT Demon, I go and either read or watch one of their videos for the question explanations. So if I flagged 10 questions and I got them all right, I'm still watching 10 video explanations. Um, unless there's something that like you did it the second time and you're like, oh no, I for sure know that. But for most part, that's what I would do. And then the questions that I missed the first time, I would put in my answer journal. I wasn't big on keeping one. I literally kept very simple notes. I would write, okay, sufficient assumption question, and this is why I missed it. Maybe I missed it because I misread the question. I found the wrong conclusion. Maybe I picked a weak answer choice, and that would be in one column. And then questions that I missed twice, I like had in my second column, and those like were like extreme weight. And those ones I would actually towards the end, I would screenshot like on my LSAT questions, I would screenshot it and just copy it into a Word document. And then like after 2 or 3 weeks, I would like create my own sections of past missed questions and do them and see how many I would get right like 3 weeks later after I forgot about the question.
Mm.
So that's my version of blind review. Does
Do you,
that make sense?
yeah,
Or
do you have those columns, this wrong missed question journal?
no, I literally just had a notebook and I just like
Okay.
drew a line down it.
And you typed it? Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I just kept just to see if there were the on my what I was looking for was um patterns in the types of question I was missing and the reason why. Like, was it misreads? Was I misfinding the conclusion? Was I like, you know, picking strong answer choices when it was supposed to be weak, or vice versa? Like sufficient, sometimes I would like pick the sufficient assumption for a necessary assumption question, like, so that was misidentifying the question type. This that's just very minor. I would write like 3 or 4 or 5 words down.
Okay.
I didn't spend a ton of time on it. It was just to make sure that I knew why my answer choice was wrong.
Okay. All right.
So
Perfect.
so I know this is more like individual like guide, but I was saying like, what do we